Yo, what's up? My name's Clarence,
And I'm DJ Nuna,
and you're listening to Up in the Air.
a podcast on our thoughts, moods, and experiences on the personal, political, and cultural world around us. Come float with us.
Hey, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for tuning in to our first episode of the year. I can't believe we've turned a corner around 2020, and hopefully you've been able to get some rest this holiday break. Maybe found some time to recalibrate, binge a few shows, eat something smacking, whatever might be in your self-care routine. You deserve it. Jubilee and I wanted to say that we're incredibly grateful for your support since we relaunched the show last year. It's been such a fun ride, and we're excited to keep pumping out more episodes with more guests, hopefully dropping some merch, and of course floating with you all. This week, we're joined by two very special friends of the pod, Gaby and Spencer. We've had the pleasure of meeting Gaby and Spencer last summer as we started working with Arts and Entertainment, otherwise known as A&E. Gaby is the marketing coordinator at A&E, a business major, film nerd, and she got mad moves for days, which you can see for yourself on her Instagram. Sorry for putting you on blast. Spencer, on the other hand, is the director of A&E, studying sociology, and he's also the manager of the crazy talented band IU, which is spelled I///U. It was so fun to start off the year with these two, discussing A&E memories, our favorite films, music, and everything in between. We hope you enjoy.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to Up in the Air. My name is Jubilee, and I'm here with my co-host Clarence, and we have some really special guests. We have some friends of Arts and Entertainment, our friends Gaby and Spencer. But yeah, thank you all so much for your time. And yeah, today we want to talk about the projects that we've done as a team for A&E, things that we hope to do in the future, and also involvement in other arts and entertainment outside of the organization. So yeah, maybe Gaby, can you start us off with introducing yourself, maybe your role in A&E, and maybe one thing that you're really passionate about?
Okay. First of all, thank you for having me. Hi, everyone. My name is Gaby. I use she, her pronouns. I am A&E's marketing coordinator. And one thing I'm really passionate about is movies.
We'll talk about some of that later.
Yes.
Yeah. How about you, Spencer?
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in, and to Jubilee and Clarence for running this podcast this whole year and getting us through what was 2020. So I want to welcome everybody to the new year. My name is Spencer Rex. I'm the Director of Arts and Entertainment this academic year. I'm really passionate about bringing people together, and that means it's taken the form of online, but hopefully in the future, in the not so distant future, we'll be able to do that in person again. So yeah, I love to bring people together. I use he, him pronouns.
That's great. No, yeah, we've definitely, as a team, experienced a lot of challenges with the pandemic happening on, engaging with our community, but we've been able to have some really great events with lots of engagement, lots of new faces. And yeah, just for people that don't know, I'm serving as the multimedia designer. I'm ending my term a little short this year for a different job that was recent news, but I've been really well supported by the team. And so we're just really excited to be all together and kind of share the behind the scenes. But Clarence, what do you do for A&E?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm the program coordinator, so I work really closely with Spencer, kind of curating the programming for our events. And then, Jubilee and Gaby, you guys are on the more marketing side and creating all these beautiful assets, posters and stuff. So yeah, it's been crazy. I feel like we've done so much. Like we've done a year's worth of, events in just a quarter, compared to past years. And Gaby and Spencer, for you too, how do you feel like that transition doing online programming versus kind of like going in person? Like what's different? What do you miss about it? And then what's new, Gaby?
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge, I think, for all of us, considering, it was hard to like navigate just like the virtual landscape of everything. And, like Spencer was saying about like bringing people together, it's so much more difficult to do so online. But I'd like to think that we came up with some pretty creative ways to do so. What do you think, Spencer?
For sure.
Yes, similar. Yep. And I'm reminded that as much as like we tackled this quarter all together and everything, we have known each other for a lot longer than that because we started basically midway through the summer. So it's almost been like half a year of knowing y'all. So that, I know a quarter feels quick. Those 10 weeks go by fast, but all the pre-planning we did and getting to know each other and the new team dynamic and everything, I think has contributed to being able to have had such a successful programming quarter. I would agree. I think one of the biggest challenges we've been facing is how music specifically translates to the online sphere. And because for me, like what I'm missing most is that collective effervescence of being in a crowd and with people at a concert and seeing something that nobody else in the world is getting a chance to experience right there, and just sort of the immediate bonds that you can make with the people around you if everybody is a fan of a certain artist. That's like so hard to replicate without being there sort of in that moment, surrounded by all the sound, the lights, the cool outfits, everything. That whole experience is just really hard to bring and sort of package online. But I think we've been doing really creative things and finding ways to at least supplement for some of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And just to preface for listeners that aren't familiar with arts and entertainment, so basically, yeah, we work in a small team of 4. We have our advisors, shout out to Trevor, that we work under, and we work to bring all the programming related to arts and entertainment onto campus. And so prior to being completely remote and before the pandemic, we had our friends like Ibrahima, Sabrina, Carmen, and Jacques brought in Jabuki, Sango. They had Kinjas last year, which was really great. Johnny Sun, which were some really amazing events that honestly that brought me closer to wanting to be part of arts and entertainment. And this year we got the super lucky opportunity to completely do virtual entertainment and we brought a lot of people. Like we had No Name, Zach Fox, Phoebe Bridgers, Lauren Tsai, Saul. Who else did we?
Chloe Feynman.
Chloe Feynman. She's been popping on SNL. We had Patrice Colors, and we also had our friend Aiden come on for a illustration event. So we definitely packed in so many amazing things just in a single quarter, honestly. So yeah, for sure. And I think Spencer, definitely what you said about music and trying to replicate that virtually is super hard. And we even talked at a meeting recently about live music and how it's an industry that's really at risk, especially for local venues. Since Seattle has so many iconic small venues that are running out of business because it's tough. There's no more performances happening right now. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah.
Spencer, I
Phoebe
remember.
also,
Sorry.
yeah, Phoebe set that bar high though. I was gonna just follow up about that point. Like we've investigated going back to music, but the set and the experience and working with Phoebe Bridgers, I think it's something that, looking back right now at the end of this quarter, we're all really proud about. But even, expecting to be fully online for the rest of our term here serving on A&E is like, she just killed it right out of the gate for dog days before we'd even had a day of class. So it's hard to follow that up, but we'll keep looking for that.
Yeah, she really did knock it out of the park. I feel like every performance she's done, whether it's on late night or, like wherever or whatever, it's always been super creative and she's putting everything into it. So that was really awesome.
She had
to
a
see.
funny tweet this week that was like, the only thing worse than touring is not touring, which I thought was pretty clever. That artist relationship of like being on the road and being away, but then when that's taken away, it's like, well, I don't want to be here all the time. I miss my fans and that sort of experience we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I remember you said that you went to a concert like right before the pandemic started, right? The lockdown.
Yes, it was 2 days prior to the governor's order of I think he shut down any event that had over 50 people, and the Strokes on March 9th had, I think, 7,000 or 8,000 people. So it was, that was pretty wild. Yeah.
Man, it's crazy how fast all that stuff happened, like how it all just went downhill.
It was the NBA, school, concerts, all within about like 4 or 5 days, I want to say. It really rolled out quickly.
Yeah, for Clarence and I, our professors chose to completely just cancel the rest of the quarter for us, and we were just given a complete. And that happened like I think just a week difference that life was completely different. So no,
I'm kind of jealous. I wish my accounting professor did that.
yeah, we were surprised. But I'm curious for the rest of the team, what was your last live concert that you attended before the pandemic?
Damn, I don't even know if I can remember the last live concert, but I do I do know that like the weekend that school shut down, I went to San Francisco to visit my brother for his birthday, and like we went out, for like 2 nights in a row, and that was like the last kind of.
Damn, I remember that.
And I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Like, it's like absurd because, like going to a crowd now, it's like, it's almost taboo, like it just feels so weird. And so, like, doing that, and then, like, the next day, them telling us that we shouldn't be in crowds and stuff like that, like, it was wild. But, Gabby, do you remember your last concert?
Okay, I don't remember my last concert, but definitely like the hardest thing for me was canceling my AMC movie subscription, because like I had that thing, the subscription you pay monthly so you could like watch 3 new movies every week, and I would literally like maximize that. So it was so hard because like I love being in the cinema and I love being surrounded by people. So like just stopping like doing that from like weekly thing to just like being at home and like just trying to watch new movies on Netflix. It was kind of sad, I feel like, but it is what it is.
It's just
Gabby, I have a question for you. Your experience being from LA and sort of, at least from what I've heard from friends that are there, about movie culture, and sort of that was something throughout middle school and high school that people like went out and did together. And I found it just has not really been like that in my life or my friends in Olympia or Seattle. Do you see a very like stark difference between Seattle and LA movie culture, especially like going out to the theaters?
Yeah, definitely, because it is La La Land, so it's understandable why the people here are so much more of a, like cinephiles than the people in Seattle. It isn't as stark, I'd say, because whenever I'd go to the cinemas, it's still pretty crowded every now and then, especially for the big movies. But I mean, just like based on the people I know from UW, like I haven't like met as much people who are as avid movie watchers or like moviegoers as I am, maybe. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Wait, are you the type, like, have you gone and just watched the movie on your own?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
I
sometimes I'll
love
just watch by
that.
myself.
I really wish
Yeah.
that I did that. Well, I've never done that actually. I was gonna say more often, but I've never done that.
Wait,
But
would you say that that's like self-care?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially if like the movie feels super personal to you. Because it is something that I definitely enjoy, watching with other people. Like I have my best friend who I always invite with me to watch every week if ever she's free, but sometimes people aren't. I like to go by myself and just like, watch by myself. But yeah.
is there like an iconic film that you've watched in theater that sticks out to you compared to the rest?
Oh, Endgame Part 2. Avengers Endgame. I feel like, I mean, the cinema, I don't know if you guys watched when it was like opening night, but I actually did not, which I was super sad about because I was like waiting for my friend to come down to Seattle and like watch with me. But yeah, I watched it. I ended up watching like a week late, but the cinema was still super packed, and just like the energy of everyone. It's just like such an amazing thing to just like personally connect with the movie, and especially for, this Marvel Cinematic Universe, as iconic as they are, like having gone through all the movies and just like having that finale, it was just an amazing experience.
Every few months I see that clip of like when all the people come at the end when they're like and then like you're like people cheering stuff. Like I think all the time because I'm like hopefully 2020 will turn around, like we're all just at the end like
Dude, yeah, I miss that feeling, honestly.
Have you ever been to a premiere?
No, I have not.
Soon. one day.
I want to.
We'll get there for sure.
I think
Hopefully.
I saw Endgame the day it came out, I want to say.
Mm.
Ooh.
I can't remember. I just remember people like in the theaters like cheering, but also like crying. And like I had friends who are a lot bigger fans of the Marvel, movies than I am, but yeah, they're just like in shambles watching it.
Okay, crying for a superhero movie. We gotta contain ourselves a
Wait,
little bit there.
okay. Let's
Cheering, okay.
talk about this a little bit. So I remember. Well, first of all, I would like to preface before bringing it up that I can't believe that this happened, in the same year. But Chadwick Boseman passed away this summer, which was so tragic, and he was such an amazing person, both on screen but also off screen. And I honestly still can't believe that happened. Was it in July? Was it in August? I think. But I remember at Arts and Entertainment during a volunteer meeting, we talked about kind of like superhero films, like in the space of like getting nominated for awards. And I know, Spencer, you were like, hold up, like crying during a superhero movie. But what's your thoughts on like that genre of superhero films in comparison to other noteworthy films or whatever that means? Like, what do you think? Well, maybe we can first talk about what makes a film good or like notable or award worthy is the word I was looking for. Yeah.
I always want to be thinking about something, a moral or a message or a meaning after the fact when I'm leaving. You know that feeling of just like when you walk down the stairs, those lighted stairs, there, the carpeted stairs when you're coming down and you're like, whoa. And it's just everybody's just sort of marinating in that, just like that was so insane. And I almost never get that from a superhero movie, but there are exceptions every once in a while. It doesn't really, there's not a huge takeaway. That doesn't make them inherently bad. I still go watch them, and like many other people in America that love them, I'm one of those people, but I don't think it makes them absolutely like incredible movies. That's why I was just a little bit like, oh, it's interesting that people cried. Now I can imagine you were very invested if you've seen all 25 films or whatever that they put out. And I think Marvel did it in a very interesting way to sort of connect all those storylines, even though I think at the beginning they didn't even know they were going to do that. But then once they got the head of steam and they brought it all together. But yeah, that's that moment that makes it worthwhile for me is right after, when you just have something more to think about, or the first thing you want to go do is go watch a ton of videos and read about the ending explained, and like here's all the little Easter eggs you missed and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
I remember reading, I forgot who said this. It was a director. He did the Robert De Niro movie. Gosh,
Martin Scorsese.
Yes.
Is it when he said Marvel, their theme park movies?
I mean, yeah, that, and like he was just saying that they're not even considered, like you can't consider them films, Gabby, do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, okay. I mean, I respect his opinion. He is a well-acclaimed director, but I don't know. Personally, I try not to take the highbrow approach when it comes to just like talking about cinema, because these films, especially, okay, not all films are meant to be for mass appeal. Some of them, like art house films, for example, like the ones A24 makes, do target like just specific niches. And that's totally fine. I think it is like a personal experience too, and whatever floats your boat, I guess. If you like a certain movie, then you like it. If you don't, you don't, and that's okay,
We love when people aren't like, I've definitely met some film nuts that are they do take like the highbrow approach, but it just kind of echoes that taste is so subjective. And like I think during the A&E meeting we talked about Black Panther, because that had been nominated for, I think, Best Picture, and it had won Best Costume. But we were just talking about, like the superhero films in those spaces. But yeah, once again, like for me and a lot of other folks, like when we watched Black Panther, like I did have that feeling, down the steps, like, wow, that was there's so much meaning behind it, behind the characters and the character development throughout. And I think the correlation from Wakanda and the States was like just really beautiful. But yeah, I think it's interesting how like what's considered good is determined by certain, or like people with higher value in their taste, I guess, because that's ultimately what these award shows are, kind of, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
His final performance, I just watched Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and he was award worthy. It's really crazy because now that we know that he was struggling this whole time, it's like it makes it even, I have even more respect. I always have loved him. I feel like he never misses, but it's like you're going through stage 4 cancer and he's pulling off all these dance moves, and he's just like, it's incredible. So if you guys have a chance to watch that, it's a really great period piece. August Wilson, great dialogue. Yeah. What do you think, Clarence?
Yeah, it was insane. His monologues that he was doing was crazy. It's also it was produced by Denzel, right? And I think he adapted another play of August Screams. It's
Fences, right? He every time it go the August Wilson plays go to screen, I think Denzel's typically involved.
Yeah, you guys should check it out. Definitely, it was really great. Also, Viola Davis is incredible.
I say it's over. Give it to her now. Yeah,
I just don't get how she can continue to top herself. You know what I mean? Like, you think someone's giving their best work, and then they just do it again, but better.
She's so wild role. On so many roles, honestly. I'm curious. Oh wait, Clarence, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask if you guys have like a favorite actor or actress where you're like, I don't care what the movie's about, you're in it, I'm there, and I want to see it. Gabby?
Let me think about this one. I don't know. Huh?
That was hard.
Spencer, do you have anyone?
Margot Robbie.
That's a good one.
She's great for many reasons. I would say a little bit more on the real. Saoirse Ronan for sure. And then Philip Seymour Hoffman. R.I.P. I've been going back through a lot of his catalog, and I think now I would just like there's many that I missed that I would like to get back to. I think he's incredible.
Okay. I'd say Denzel Washington. Definitely, I'm very into action movies. Timothy Chalamet. Don't judge me.
Hey, we all get one cheat.
And
he's also very talented.
It's okay, Gabby. No shame.
I did watch Call Me by Your Name at the very beginning of quarantine for the first time, and I thought that was a beautiful film. And we talked about Lady Bird. He was in that. Guys,
you're like 3 steps away from a hot take.
Wait, what's a film that I should watch with Timothy Chalamet? I always joke and like mess up his last name, but Chalamet.
Chameleon.
Yeah.
The French Dispatch, but it's still set to be released for next year.
Like, have you seen that? What do you know, Gabby? You've never been to a premiere.
Sorry, I'm just excited for it.
Yes, Wesley, our boy Wesley. Yeah, that's gonna be great.
Do y'all have a all-time favorite film? I know it's a difficult question, but the first thing that comes to mind.
Spencer, just do the sign of the cross.
Yes. I don't know. I start sweating when people do that. Like, I have to keep it in my notes app. I think my all-time favorite is School of Rock. Yeah.
Oh man.
Let's
so clever.
rock today.
Yeah. Let's rock today.
I actually just recently, or maybe like a few weeks back, I like just had on YouTube, I just like looked up I didn't even watch the movie again. Like I was just like looking up scenes, like specific scenes, and like their final performance, stuff like that. And I was like, why am I doing this? But it was like enjoyable, and that brought me back to like when I first watched it. It's a good time.
That movie is iconic, and for some reason my parents I think we watched that so many times during my childhood. And I think the funniest scene is the kid Freddie, who is really quiet, and Mr. Schneebly is like trying to get him to like insult him, and he's like something about body odor. Like I thought
I
that
think
was,
You're a
it's
fat loser.
You're a fat loser and you have
body
body
odor.
odor. Yeah.
I thought that was the funniest scene.
And
But
Jack Black was like,
I'm
"Oh,
a back off.
all right, all right."
I
Yeah.
remember watching that movie and really liking it, and then like almost feeling guilty because a lot of my friends and like people that I knew when it came out, we were like listening to primarily hip hop or like whatever rap music, right? And so watching that movie, and I was like, I really like this music, and like I was listening to the soundtrack on my own and stuff like that, and so I almost felt guilty at one point, just like for enjoying it. But then, soon after I realized, who gives a fuck about music taste?
I think it was all secretly our dream that would happen to us. Like a sub would come in and is like,
Yeah.
Today's rock band day, and like get the principal drunk. Like the whole writing, like the whole exact arc of it is so genius. I love that movie so much.
No, for real. I feel like I remember all the little, like when he's like, step off. Like I remember all those little lyrics. But I love that film. How about you, Gabby?
Oh, this is also a very hard question for me. Honestly, anything by Christopher Nolan. He's like my all-time favorite director. I love his films. I love his style of directing, and just like it's a very visual experience too, which I very much enjoy. I'd say my favorite Christopher Nolan film is Interstellar. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah.
I have not seen it.
So
Okay. I was going to talk about the plot twist, but never mind.
I was so confused.
I need to watch it though. There's actually quite a few films that like are on my list I need to still watch.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
like any
Gabby,
movie.
be honest. Did you actually understand Tenet?
Honestly, no.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for being
guys,
honest.
I've seen it three times in the past like 3 weeks. I still don't get it.
Wait, so Spencer, you get it? I haven't seen
No,
it. Okay.
nobody gets it.
Damn.
Is what I've heard.
Yes. Even the actors, like Robert Pattinson, he was like, yeah, I just don't get it.
Didn't he say like 9 months into filming he had no clue what was going on?
Mhm. No, but I like movies like that. I like
me and
movies
Mike,
that make you
I'm
think.
Still figuring it out. No, yeah.
Does that one make you think, or does it insult your intelligence?
Maybe both.
Okay, are you one of those people though that like you have to know and understand everything about a movie to like really enjoy it? No.
No.
Okay.
I don't think
yeah,
so.
I would say the same thing too, because I feel like a lot of Christopher Nolan's movies is like it leaves you just like thinking. You're like,
Mhm.
I don't really get it, but I feel something about it, and that's good enough in a way.
Yeah.
I
No,
think.
but what I appreciate, sorry.
Oh, wait, no, go
What
for
I
it.
appreciate about these like intellectually stimulating movies is just like the conversations you could have with people afterwards. It's just fun to talk about and just like theorize about with your friends or your family.
Mm-hmm. For real. No, I was just thinking about like iconic experiences in the movie theater, and I would say my favorite experience was watching Get Out in theater, because I went in not even knowing what the premise was, and I had no idea what to expect, and it was like a packed theater, and that was the first time that I experienced like a standing ovation in the theater. Like everyone was just standing and clapping when, hopefully no one has not seen it, but when I think he just like shoots her or something, like it was just, I felt like the energy in the theater. But I think Jordan Peele's other movie Us was one of those films where I was like, I don't really know, like I still don't really like fully understand it, but it's a good conversation topic. So I don't know if y'all have watched Us. That one was a bit more vague and ambiguous, so
I totally agree, and I'm jealous of the Get Out experience. And because I didn't get to go see that in theaters, I was like made a point to go see in the first week Us when that had come out. And I think people, there was no standing ovation because I think people are like, there's almost too much to think about. But I went home, and that was one where I had to read a lot, and then I appreciated, oh, this is a really deep conversation, commentary on capitalism and a ton of other underlying things that weren't as sort of explicit as race relations were in Get Out and stuff, but still really meticulously well done. So yeah, I'm a huge stan Mr. Peel, and I vow, like, anytime he's gonna make something, I have to go see it now for sure.
Yeah.
For real.
Can I just say Lupita Nyong'o's acting in that movie was so good.
I was scared of her. I was just
Yeah.
like, done.
It was scary. It was a scary movie.
That
she-
twist at the end, I was
Yeah.
not expecting that personally. Like that
Wait,
that gave
Julie,
me like a
what-
gross feeling. Oh yeah.
Julie, what's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, I just recently rewatched it just to make sure like it hits the same. But mine is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And I think I'm just a sucker for anything that brings up those feelings of nostalgia. And I know that for other folks, there's a lot of plot holes and it just doesn't like, I think for very logical thinkers, it's like, that doesn't make sense or how can that be? But I personally just really liked, I don't know, I just thought it was a really unique movie and I think it's beautifully filmed and I think just the meaning behind it, like I love how it makes me feel personally. So that's my favorite film. And it's on Netflix again, so I recommend if anyone hasn't watched it. But how about you? Wait, Clarence, you haven't watched that, have you?
I have.
Oh, you have? Oh, okay, just kidding. What's yours?
Trying to come at me.
No, I was just making sure.
Yeah, I feel like I have. It's a hard question too.
Mhm.
I did really enjoy watching.
You had all this time to think about it.
I know. I was just like I was scrambling. I really liked The Dark Knight Rises, which is kind of corny,
I
but
have not seen any of the Batman films.
so that trilogy was directed by Christopher Nolan, and
Yes.
I think a lot of people like the one with the Joker. But I personally like the last one, just because like I don't know, like first of all, it's a long ass movie. It's like almost 3 hours, I think, and there's a portion of it when like Batman's not even in it, and it's like I don't know. I just liked how they broke the character down, and then like how he came back to it, and then it's like honestly like a classic hero's journey, but it still works for me. So that was it. And like I love action movies and like superhero movies, but I don't like necessarily the corny shit, and I thought that they did it really well. Like it wasn't corny at all.
I gotta say, Wonder Woman was really bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, wait, Wonder Woman 1984?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
actually
agree.
I didn't even make it to the end of the film. I watched it with my family on Christmas, and all of us were just not very impressed. Even my grandparents, they were like, "What is happening?" Like, I don't know. I personally wasn't impressed, but
I mean, compared to the first one, right? Like it was nowhere near as exciting, I think.
it's
Yeah.
interesting because even the first one didn't hit very well for me personally. I saw lots of women sharing their testimonies about the film, like how emotional they felt seeing such amazing, powerful women on screen. But I don't know. I definitely still admire that, but it wasn't like a huge personal like revelation when I watched it in theaters as well. But I don't know.
I just thought that like there was such a lack of fighting.
Yeah, I think just
Like-
the production is just not up to like when she's just whipping that lasso. It just I don't know. it
She was flying for like 10 to 15 minutes. Like
no. Yeah.
DC stays taking L's. Like Batman versus Superman was so bad. Green Lantern was
that
awful.
real?
Like all of their characters suck. The only good thing they've ever done is the Dark Knight Rises. In my opinion, it's like the DC versus Marvel conversation is not even one for me. It's like Marvel just kicks their ass 24/7, and then they try to do something, and it's almost always just I don't know. That's just me, but they never come with anything super strong. And it's like Batman versus Superman, like so awful. Why are they fighting each other?
That was
Who
was
asked for that?
I was genuinely so confused during that film, and I was like, "How is this real?" Honestly,
like
So-
I feel like their delivery of like the way that people or what people want from the movies aren't like what they're thinking of when they're producing it, because it just seems like it's like either you lean fully into the director's vision and like go that kind of like almost like an art house film in a way, or like you do what Marvel's doing and like it's all just kind of like fanfare and like and just like family friendly movies. But I don't know, because I what I do appreciate about the DC movies is that they're a little bit darker, and I'm like that's a good like thing, because like if you do exactly what Marvel's doing, like why would we watch that? You know, it's like the same shit. And like honestly, I am getting a little bit tired of all of Marvel's movies. Like I will still go watch it, unfortunately, but like it's just getting so it's like a formula, and they mastered it.
I
And
would
hey, you know.
Yeah, I think definitely something that kind of not necessarily like a huge taste breaker, but something that was different from Marvel was Into the Spider-Verse. And I thought that was an amazing film. It was so beautiful. And I have a lot of friends that are into or that are animators or illustrators, and how there is like a stigma attached to animated films that it's more like childish and not as serious, but there's so many animated films are so beautiful. Like Aiden talked about Spirited Away. I recently rewatched that. Has everyone seen that? It's so beautiful. And I recently watched Soul. I saw some screenshots on Twitter of that. That movie hit different. It has everyone seen that?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Pixar is just they never miss. They never miss.
For real. I was
Just me like thinking about my life and my purpose.
Seriously, they literally address existentialism, and I was like, "What is happening?" Like watching it with my family. But yeah, I think I've definitely have grown to admire so much animated films and how much care goes into those films for real. But I'm curious as to like Spencer, I know that you manage IU and wanted to talk a little bit about that because I know that they're dropping their new project. They just dropped a single, Standing Still. Is it Standing Still?
Standing in the Silence.
Oh shit.
It's close. It's close.
Wait, I listened to it a lot though this past Standing in the Silence. But I would love to hear a little bit about your experience with IU and future projects. But yeah.
Yes. It's been great. I love all the people. That's why I joined. A combination of believing in the individuals behind the music and the creation and everything, plus just like being a fan. First time I ever saw them was at this contest called Sound Off. Many people at UW were introduced to them in the house show scene, but for me, I went as sort of a music industry fan, you know, just of general like, oh, who are the up and coming bands in Seattle? Everyone's talking about these guys, IU from down, like, you know, they lived next door to me. So it's like, went down to Museum of Pop Culture, Mopop, and saw them, and they won. And right after they performed, I went up to Scott Elder, my friend, and sort of the ringleader there over at IU. And I said, you guys are going to win. And he said, don't jinx it. I said, it's already done. Like, you got it. You're so much better than everybody else. And then I also ran into him at a free Mac DeMarco show at KEXP. And then we chatted about our respective music industry backgrounds and stuff. And then eventually took him out to Thai food and said, oh, I would love to manage you guys. And since then, been doing it for just almost about 2 years now. The song we released on New Year's Day was the first thing we had put out in over a year. It is sort of the product of everybody being apart for the quarantine and sending in their various recordings and stuff. And I don't really know how all the tech works, but it's pretty miraculous that they didn't record that all together. It's each like, you know, 5 different computers, they all have their different mics and stuff. The project's name itself is 5 Lives to a Circle, and it's 5 unique singles that we're not calling an EP or anything, but they'll be released every other Friday, and then, yes, beginning on the first of the year. So we have 2 months of upcoming new music. So hopefully everyone wears out this first single in these 2 weeks, plays it a lot like Jubilee is, and then you'll get another one, and then another one after that, and then 2 more after that. So yeah, that's what we've been working on. A big letdown was not being able to tour. That would have been last spring break. So ultimately COVID crept up, and just like every other band in North America and the world, we had to cancel something we were very much looking forward to. But we got some stuff in the works that we're trying to do some long-term planning for. the next sort of piece is just like the transition out of, a lot of people are going to be graduating. So we're no longer a UW band. It'll be like, do people stick around, or they're going to go pursue their computer coding, or like, so that's sort of the difficult questions we have coming up.
So you said that you guys are dropping a single every 2 weeks. Is that just like a way to combat I guess, when we get new music nowadays, like we just go through it so fast and then that's like old news. Is that kind of the thinking behind that?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I always found with IU is it was either it was just a very like sporadic levels of hype. Either everybody was talking about us, we had just come off a house show, we had just released music, or it was just dead air, nothing on the airwaves, just radio silence from us. And I thought a way that we could work around that is not by just dropping an EP, but like just sort of stringing it out. You get 2 months of new music, and it's truly only 5 songs. That's like what an EP would be. But during that time, the band can be posting a lot of content creation. They can be writing other songs. So the break in between when the 5th single is released and then whatever we do next, that is shorter. We want to do some video work, maybe even like after all 5 singles are released, have fan voting as to which one we do a full production music video for. So we're talking about some ideas like that. But yeah, that was part of it. And the other thing was just like, we want to cheat the algorithms because we're all about that money.
Yeah, so, where'd you get that from?
I ordered that for the music video. We got fake hundreds coming. Just kidding. It's just, yeah, I don't know. We're trying to get those streaming numbers up. So if you see me looping it overnight, don't text.
No, actually, for real, I saw, because I'm off Instagram right now, so I didn't actually know that they dropped it, but I saw you listening to it, so then I was like, oh, I don't think that name isn't familiar, so it's really good, and I got to listen to some older tracks too, and I don't know about Clarence and Gabby, but I do think the IU house shows kind of defined like my sophomore year in college. Like I first went to, I think, a couple of them, and they were super memorable, and I got to meet a lot of cool people from there. And I think I mostly met IU through like Billy. I knew Billy, so the drummer. But
no, I'm in the same boat as Spencer. I saw them at Sound Off.
oh, I went with you.
Yeah. So I mean, I remember just seeing. I also remember them performing at Spring Show one year. Yeah. So it was, yeah, I just like was amazed that they're a UW band, at the time and for now. But that's really cool. Gabby, I was gonna ask you from a marketing perspective, in the way that the music is rolling out, like would you agree that it's a smart kind of like way to combat how fast we go through music nowadays?
Okay.
Careful.
I'm trying to be careful.
I'm trying to start some beef now.
Wash my words. I get the reasoning behind it, because yes, we do blow through music super quickly. But I think, people have different strategies. Some people wait for a long ass time to release music, and that in itself just like builds more hype. But I think for IU and just like I'm sure like you guys have like a really loyal fan base. It's like a treat to have you guys just like consistently releasing music, and that's something that they're going to be looking forward to every 2 weeks. So
yeah,
it could go both ways, I'd say.
I think it's super unique too. Like people will be kind of eager for the next one. Like I'm curious as to what the next few songs will be. And also I think Instagram as a platform has really shifted during quarantine, and it's really hard to see things from the things that you want to see, honestly. Like I don't know about y'all, but my feed was hella blocked with advertisements and sponsors that I feel like I couldn't even see my friends' posts or the people that I admire, like their work. Very like it was kind of like I had to search for it. So I don't know, I'm excited for the next couple drops, and I think especially when COVID is over, it'll be so celebratory to have that one event to kick it off and have all those new songs too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have yet to go to a house show, so
I want to go to a house show. That sounds really dope. I've never been to one either.
It was like every single time so packed, like they would have to like sometimes turn people away just because it would be at like someone's living room, and I think
I was at the wrong party's sophomore
yeah,
year.
we're even worse.
I was at somewhere, I don't even know where I was.
I think one of my favorite ones was the one with the string lights outside. That one was really
the fuck your kickbacks were always insane.
yeah.
I think that was the biggest show we ever played. The second one, we just posted all these photos from it as sort of a thank you to all the people we're missing the most. Those images are from the second fuck your kickback in like I want to say October of 2019, and I think the final clicker number through the door, it was an outdoor place. It was something like 550 or 600 people.
Wow.
And like just jammed into a backyard. It was the cops got called. It was wild. That was also the first show that I like worked with them. So like, hey, come through. You know, you gotta. My first thing that I had to do was like, you need to get us an exit strategy. Like, there's cops out there. Get us out of here, Spencer. And I was like, oh my gosh, a fun first assignment.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, that sounds like a lot of fun. I wish I could have made it to one of those. Hopefully it'll happen.
It's not too late.
Yeah.
Also, I want to get a quick shout out into the Spotify friend tab. I have a pal, Joey, right now, who's listening to POV, You're a Turkey and You Just Got Pardoned, our Thanksgiving A&E mix. Right now, I could see her just going through it the whole time. So shout out to the people that curated that playlist.
Us, yeah. No. That's one of my self-care routines, is just making a playlist. It just really or it just like reflects how I'm feeling, and I'm like, oh damn, I am kind of sad right now. Like, shit.
Sabrina recently tweeted this. Sabrina was the old director of A&E, but I think she said like, my self-care is making a bunch of playlists, but then they all like they're the exact same playlist, basically, just in a different order. Because I totally be doing that. Like, I'll just be like, oh, I'll just add this one song because I love this song. But then I just add the same songs. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like a good segue to Song of the Week, but how are we doing on time, Clarence?
We're about 45 minutes in, almost.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, before we wrap up, I'm curious who your dream guest is for arts and entertainment. And let's just pretend that we're in a COVID-free world and it's a in-person event.
And everyone's playing for free.
Yes, and there's no budget, no limits whatsoever. Your dream guest, and it can be like a band, like not just a single person too. So who wants to start?
Or should we do like this dream spring show? So like you could choose three.
Oh yes.
How about here's a good one. How about just like one headliner, one opener? Let's not build a four-person build, but that gives you
Let's do that.
So one realistic name, one dream name.
What is Flo Milli? She'd probably be a headliner, right?
That was last time when we were picking up posters from Spencer said that he would think me and Flo Milli would be good friends.
I still do.
I can see that.
Why?
y'all get into a little trouble, but good trouble, you know.
Wait, I can start this off because Flo Milli was I think like a feasible headliner, like that made sense in the time when we were planning our variety show in the fall. And I think even next year, if it's in person, I think she could still be a really good option. Flo Milli is, for those of you that don't know, she's a really young like female rapper that just got in the game. She's I think 18 or 19. Most people probably know her songs from TikTok. I think that's where her career really started and picked up. But I love Flo Milli, and I think as an opener, I would have. I think to blend in with the female rap scene, I would have Audrey Nuna, who is like a very new female rapper and R&B, I think somewhat alternative R&B artist.
She just started rapping, didn't she?
Yeah, and I was like, it's kind of good. So I would
That's
say
wild.
Audrey Nuna with a U. I think, and she was also recently on like Dumbfounded's podcast, and I'm a big fan of his podcast. So I would say that. I also love Ravina, but she's also like a different type of mood. So who's next?
I can go next to give you guys more time.
Yeah.
Okay. For an opener, I know it's like a little bit big at this point, maybe, but I wanted Steve Lacy. I think that'd be fire. He just dropped a new project recently, which I really enjoyed. And I also really liked his other album, Apollo 20.
I forgot the number. What's his new project called? Like the Lo-Fis, or what was it?
It's like the Lo-Fi tapes or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Yeah, I like that project a lot. And then for like the big guest with no budget or with unlimited budget, I want Kid Cudi.
That's a good
Oh,
one.
good luck, right?
Dream.
Phoebe comes through on the feature too. You also get her as the package deal. You get all the features.
I can't. So I was looking at the rating on Pitchfork of his album, and it was like so low. And I was like, "What? I thought it was so good." His album.
Do you think it's better than Kids See Ghosts?
I think. I don't know. It's different.
For sure.
I would say like, yeah, it's hard to say, just because there's a lot of pressure for this like the most recent album to kind of encapsulate the trilogy, and so I can see why like people's expectations might have been extremely high. But I do remember I gotta, this is the only reason why I keep Snapchat, but like I get memories every once in a while. And then I went to a Kid Cudi concert like I think a year ago or 2 years ago, and just like being there and like I took a video of him humming. I was like, I was in the background, I was like screaming. But yeah, that'd be a dream guest for me. Spencer or Gabby, any one of you ready?
That would be pretty sick. Yeah, I could go. Some of these won't be a shock, and maybe a name you guys have heard. I think a good up and coming thing that would be fun is I would love to get a British artist. I think that's just so fun to like put them in front of an American crowd. And one of the up and coming bands I see creating some waves are these kids out of Dublin called Inhaler. And as chance would have it, the lead singer's dad is Bono, but he's cooler than his dad for sure. So, and like they're still, it's weird, they're underground, they're small, but it would fit really well with the college scene. Some cuties from Dublin. I think they would do well. They would do well with the Seattle crowd. And then just sort of to keep that same sort of feel, this will be to nobody's surprise, I think the Strokes for a headlining set. They only ever play like an hour anyway, but after seeing them in Seattle and seeing how many young people were there, that could have been because all the old people dumped their tickets because of COVID, but it really did feel like the median age was like 23 at that show, which was cool because everybody on stage was like 40. But they're like the coolest old people that would still do really well in a college sphere. I would say they're like the Pusha T of rock, like sort of a little bit old head, but like still like would definitely have like that clout and aren't like over the hill or washed up or anything.
It's like
so that's
dealing rock music.
Yeah. All right, Gabby, take us home. What's the bill?
Okay. As an opener, I'm a really big fan of A Wonder. I can't tell if they're like big enough or like too small. I don't know, but maybe a dream headliner would probably be like Travis Scott or something. It'd be super fun. Just a dream.
I just think of him like.
Did you get to see him when he came to Seattle or Tacoma?
I did. I did. I went with like my freshman roommate, and it was like super hype. It was so fun.
I almost died at that concert. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I bring this up, but when I think it was the Pusha T. Wait, so Pusha T and Rich the Kid was 2 years back.
That was Aiden's spring show, yeah.
Last spring we had ASUW and Weathen. That was the one I almost got trampled at, and Clarence saved me. Like I literally, my friend and I actually almost got trampled. That was like a really interesting.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah, by the way, thank you. I've never seen Clarence like actually concerned. Like that was the first time I think I saw like fear in his eyes, and then he was like, "Okay, wait, she's actually about to get
I was
smashed."
like, if Jubilee gets stomped out right now, like I don't know if she'll make it to, I don't know, next quarter.
No, yeah. But yeah, I think Clarence and I have had such a great past quarter, and I'm excited to continue to see what y'all will do. I'll obviously be in really close proximity. Like I talk to Clarence like
No,
really often.
you're out. You're out. You're banished.
But yeah, we are just super happy to or like Clarence and I are just really blessed to have been part of a great team, especially working under such unideal circumstances. Like we really made it work. But yeah, before we end, we're gonna quickly do songs of the week, and this is just a song that has helped you get through the week, something that's on repeat. I feel like I know what Spencer's might be, but I don't know. But Clarence, do you want to start?
Sure. So my song of the week is Doomsday by MF Doom. Rest in peace. He passed away on Halloween, which is quite fitting for him. But yeah, I got a poster recently from Stone's Throw Records of him, and I don't know, it's just like crazy. Like I think the coolest rapper ever is like him. You know, like just the mask is so iconic, and yeah, he's like your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. So that's my song of the week. You should check it out if you haven't heard it. It's like I think it's like his most popular song. So I'm sure if you hear it, you probably be like, oh, I've heard this before. But yeah. Spencer, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so dope. That's an insurmountable loss right there. I really got into like Mad Villain a little bit sort of through the Fantano stuff. So I'm not sure if I'm a full-on fan or anything, but every time he's on, I'm just like, he's doing things that nobody else is doing. And it's cool. He's actually sort of also in that Pusha T category. Like he was older, way too young to leave us, but older and still innovating and still hip with the kids and everything. So that just shows you, yeah, his versatility as an artist and controlling sort of his private life and behind the mask and everything, I think is so genius that so many artists get caught up. And yeah, I have infinite respect for everything he did while he was here and what his records will continue to do. So that's a great choice.
He was doing what Sia was doing now.
Yeah. I got to do it. I//you. IU. Standing in the silence has been getting me through the week. It's a really beautiful, cool tune, sort of melancholy, sort of upbeat. Little preview. Next song we're going like way more swaggy, way more sort of upbeat. So keep an eye out for that. But until then, keep enjoying Standing in the Silence.
Yes, sir.
Gabby?
Okay, since I mentioned Oh Wonder, I've been listening nonstop to Keep on Dancing. Super good song. I think, like with the year that we just had and so much uncertainty for 2021, I think it's a good reminder that we just, keep on keeping on and just like dance through it.
Facts.
Yeah.
Can't wait to dance with y'all one day.
You just like socially distance. It's like
damn. But yeah, I can close us off. I feel like we haven't recorded an episode since the drop, but mine is obviously Good Days by SZA because that song just was dropped at the perfect time, and I think not only me but so many people resonate really deeply with it. And also Jacob Collier's like the background vocals and their voices are just really nice together, and I'm hoping that SZA will drop her next album sometime this year. I low-key thought she's gonna drop it on New Year's, but not quite yet. But that's my song of the week and probably song of the year of this year, probably.
your TikTok of you floating is
I filmed this TikTok of me. It's like how I feel listening to SZA, and it's me like levitating.
Would you say you were up in the air? Cut it there. Cut it
End
there.
End it. Gaby, Spencer, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a beautiful conversation and a great way to start the year. It's always
yeah. We'll see you at work. We'll see you at work on Monday. All right. Be well, y'all.
Thank you so much.
You.
And
thanks for having us.
we'll see you all on the next episode. Peace.